Justin, Tommy and Tiger, what they're showing you here is the actual way to rotate in the downswing, and your lack of it is the reason why you can't rotate in a downswing. And what they were all demonstrating was moving into flexion as they start the downswing and throughout. So this is what all of you miss when you're trying to create rotation, because rotating through the downswing isn't actually rotating, it's moving into flexion. So that's where we're getting that lower body sinking back, specifically the left hip. Imagine it's like your belt buckle is moving on top of your left heel and back, sinking down. That is moving into flexion, because you can see that moves my upper body down, the hips move back, and you can see if I just keep moving more and more into flexion with that left hip pushing more and more back, you can see how it rotates me. Does a lot of other really good things as well. Getting that left side to sink back, moving into flexion. It gets me to where then I'm collecting my arms nicely in front of me. Really hard to get stuck from there, moving in flexion. See how the right arm drives in. We're gonna see rotation gives you a bunch of shaft lean as a byproduct. So it's the best thing to do, which is what all the best players in the world are always actively trying to do. And I'm gonna show you two great drills for it. So before we get into these two drills, which will absolutely get you doing this properly, it won't even feel like you're turning. You will just start doing it. You will stay down, your early extension will be gone, you'll start compressing it, all the lovely things. But what we see, the real reason why so many golfers cannot do this is because of the concept is wrong. So that is trying to spin and trying to turn. So if I'm starting that downswing, trying to spin the right side of my body, which a lot of people instinctively try to do, you're gonna see that's gonna move you into extension rather than flexion. So as soon as that right hip pushes forward, gets close to the golf ball, my right arm then sinks behind me, it gets stuck. So the only place I can go from here is shooting out towards the right, moving the lower body more forward, upper body more back. It's gonna be really, really difficult to time up. I mean, sure I could, like you could see there, I managed to hit a swiping draw down there, but it's gone a lot shorter. Actually hit that hair heavy as well. It's just tough to be able to do it. And that's just from that concept of trying to spin rather than trying to flex. So we don't actually ever really want to try to rotate. It's a byproduct of moving into our flexion. Because like I said, if you're getting that left side moving back, keep that right side at bay, everything falls into place nicely. Arms get in front, you start to turn again. I'm not trying to turn, look, I'm just pushing my left hip back. And you can see there, I'm rotating without even trying. So that's where it's a conceptual change. We're flexing, we're not spinning. So let's, I mean, look at the sound of that strike. Let's get into two drills to be able to train this straight away. So, okay, our first drill here. This is what I teach a lot of people to do who are chronic spinners in the downswing, and teaching them how to get into that flexion. So you just grab a wedge and you put that wedge underneath your trail heel. So for me, a right-handed golfer, that's my right heel. Then we angle the shaft directly behind our lead legs. Again, for me, my left leg. Now, what we're doing two things with this drill. So as we're coming down, we want to keep this club that's underneath our trail heel underneath there for the entirety of the downswing until after the finish, then we let it go. That stops us from that spin. Because as soon as we spin, we get too much right side drive, that then drops that underneath the foot, the heel lifts up. Again, if we had, for example, because I know there'll be some comments about this, if we had a ton of trail side bend at the same time, you could mitigate a lot of the negative effects of that, like let's say a Justin Thomas. But how many of those are there? There's one. And how many of you are doing that? None of them, because you're watching this video. So that's where you wouldn't have those problems. So we want to, one, keep that underneath our foot for the entirety until after impact, keeping that trail side at bay, not spinning out. But here's the real good part of this drill. Because this club is behind my left leg with the shaft. Now, as I get up to the top, I'm going to create a little bit of space naturally between my left leg and the shaft. And then as we're moving down, we're getting the left leg to sink back to where we're trying to hit that shaft as soon as we can. Again, we're not going to be spinning out, not going to get stuck from there, because this is moving us into flexion. You can see how the arms collect in front. That's where you can't get stuck if you rotate properly. And you won't fly the club out in front of you as well if you're doing it with your lower body and upper body reacts. Now, one main thing before I hit a ball there, you have still got to get your pressure shifting left. That's where a lot of golfers ask, is it a weight shift and a turn? Is it a turn first and whenever weight shift comes, it's both together. Imagine you're throwing a ball. What are you gonna do? You're gonna plant your lead foot, and at the same time, as soon as it plants, you're gonna be unwinding with that lower body. It's the same time it happens. Golf swing happens too fast to be able to segment both of those movements. You're not gonna be able to time a bump and a turn, because that's under a second we're performing that downswing. So you've got to do them both at the same time. That's where this will treat and get that for you really nicely. A little feel I like for a lot of golfers who really struggle with that is feeling like, again, belt buckle is getting on top of that left heel as they're moving down. That's going to be moving yourself laterally and rotationally at the same time. Brilliant. Okay, so like we said, what we want to do, keep this underneath our foot until after impact and then hit this shaft behind with our left leg as soon as we can. Even if we get there, let's say that's good, but even if we don't, it's still all right. Our intent is there. So nice and smooth to start off with. So a nice smooth swing. Again, it just becomes much easier to move the body correctly. But why I really like this one, because again, most players will have the fault of driving up with that trail side, spinning out too much. And this one really immediately gets you feeling the right thing. Again, a lot of players might feel like they hang back on that trail side to keep this underneath their foot. So make sure that belt buckle is still getting forward on top of that left heel as you're trying to hit this shaft. So again, one more. Talk about drill number 2. So drill number 2 is something I've talked about on the channel for a long time. So you're probably all expecting that from this video, and you're right. A good chair or stool drill could even be your golf bag. So just have something there that is behind your hip. So here with a stool, because it's not too wide, I'm just placing it directly behind my left hip, as you can see here. So what's our goal? What I want players to do from here is I always see players standing quite close to it, which that is a valid way of doing this. But for this here, I want you to create a gap. So about half a grip's distance of a gap between you and the stool or chair behind you, or your golf bag. And all I want you to do is get a nice full turn up to the top. But then from there, just like our concept with the club behind our lead leg, go and close in that gap and try and hit that stool or chair behind you in that downswing. So what's that doing? That's moving you into a ton of flexion, more than you would generally normally get, but it's good to over-exaggerate. So here we go. It's going to be a hard one to do. But again, even if we don't hit it, we know our intent is strong enough to move our lead hip back. So again, nice and smooth, good turn up to the top. So I didn't quite get there, but I know for sure that my hip would have been moving back. I could even feel it with the pressures in my feet. So much, much better. That's what we can do. Now, again, if you do a bunch of those and maybe half a grip's distance back is too much, just like you're in the gym and you're lifting a weight that's maybe too heavy for you, lighten it up and get more comfortable with that lighter weight. That's the same thing with here. Make the gap a little bit smaller, just behind your left hip, and same thing. Again, this is giving us feedback. So again, let's do one. So it's giving us feedback to whether we're doing it right or wrong. See how I pushed that there? A little bit of a toe strike on that one, missing the green. But that's a good thing to note as well. When you're really exaggerating a motion, you might not hit the ball perfect, but what you're doing, you're exaggerating, as we said. You're getting your body to do something it doesn't normally do. So it's a great one to do. Feedback is absolutely essential if you want to make a proper, meaningful change in your golf swing, because without feedback, you're just guessing. So many golfers are just using their conscious brain, using swing thoughts to be able to get a movement into your swing. And that is why most golfers never make the change they're trying to make, because they're using their conscious brain. Again, the golf swing is performed so quickly, the conscious brain won't have a great deal of say to change something. So one more. And there we go. Okay, so nice, smooth start off with, build it up. And when you take these out of the way, it's going to be so much easier to get that feel. Left side sinking back and continue to sink it back all the way through. And that gets you that full range of motion of rotation. So absolutely, as you can see, this is the reason why you haven't been, because you haven't been flexing. That's the reason why so many of the top players in the world rotate so effortlessly, because they know how to actually do this. So once you do the drills, it's going to be so much easier to get that feel. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button for more golf instruction. Just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video.